Hey you guys, it's Amanda with Healthy House on the Block, and this week I want to talk to you guys about phthalates. It is one of these like trigger words I feel like that we hear about, but we don't really know a lot about what it is necessarily. Even when we're in the health and wellness space, we just know that it's something bad. And so what I wanted to do this week is do like a deep dive into what they are, why they're toxic to our bodies, where they are in our homes, how we can avoid them, how you can kind of identify things in your house that have this particular toxin and chemical in it. And so it's just what I like to call a deep dive. I think that's the best way to describe it because it really gets into the specifics and a lot of studies and science behind what this is in our homes. So if you're new here or if you haven't been around in a while, I share all of my studies that I base my blog posts on and all of the research that I find. I share it all in my blog post. So if you're looking for links to specific sources, to specific studies, you can find all of it linked. I am one of those people who really likes to have a lot of factual information. I don't like to get my I don't like to make my decisions based on someone else's opinion. I like to make my decisions based on facts, and so I share those facts with you because I do the research as well. So this week's video is going to be all about phthalates. I have a couple slides for you coming up, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about what they are right off the bat, and then talk to you about some of the things that you'll find in this week's blog post. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can just go to the link that I have in the description for YouTube, and you'll be able to find anything that I reference in here. So phthalates are everywhere. It seems like they're in a lot of our plastics. They're the component that makes plastics soft and moldable. It's in a lot of like vinyl things. So if you think about like vinyl blinds, vinyl flooring, wallpaper, things that have that kind of plasticky feel but are very bendable, moldable, scratch resistant, really durable. A lot of times those have phthalates in them. Other things, like I mentioned before, a lot of the materials within our homes. Like I said, flooring. So if you're looking at vinyl flooring or you have like old school like laminate, a lot of times that has phthalates in it because it's made to be very resistant, very scratch proof, it's durable. Other things that have phthalates would be like rain gear. So if you're thinking rain boots for your kids, or if you have a raincoat, umbrellas, shower curtains, it's everywhere in our house. And now we're finding that it's in a lot of the plastics that we use in the kitchen. So if you purchase something that is wrapped in plastic, if you purchase something that has plastic around it, if you use plastic storage, a lot of times these have phthalates in it. And then in addition to all this, it's also found in our cosmetics, in our personal care products. So it's a very common toxin that we see in a lot of different places within our daily use. We're coming into contact with it a lot, and that is why it's a huge toxin that you could try to eliminate or minimize at the very least from your home and from your daily life. So this is where I always step in and say, don't get overwhelmed because it is so many places. You probably won't be able to cut it out completely, but minimizing it where you can and minimizing it in the places that you're using it on a daily basis or multiple times a day, or it's something that you're coming into contact with a lot, that's going to be the first step. So when we're looking at removing a toxin, we think about, okay, do I put it on my skin? Am I ingesting it? Am I breathing it in? And with phthalates, it's all three of them. So when you have phthalates in your house, the dust, the very fine particles of dust from like flooring, shower curtains, anything that you have in your house will end up in the air. And so we are breathing it in, unfortunately. And then too, if we have it around our food, or you have kids that play with plastic toys, especially like teethers, or they're using plastic toys as teethers, they're ingesting it. And so those are the two big ones that we really want to avoid. And then also like skin absorption. So if you have a personal care product or you have a cosmetic that you're putting on your skin that you find out has phthalates, you want to discontinue that and find something different. So in this week's blog post, I have a list of everything that contains phthalates. There's even more. And then I'm also sharing with you this week one really good way if you're trying to avoid like the plastic part of phthalates, so that looking at plastic materials around your house, there are codes that you can look for on your plastic containers, plastic recyclables, that will tell you if they have phthalates in them. So I have a list of about 13. And then just in general, if you look at that little triangle on your recycling, if it has a V or a PVC, just avoid it. I wouldn't use it. I would try to find something else. Switching everything over in your kitchen to like a glass or a metal is a great step. It's a big project and you could do it over time, but it's a really great way to kind of minimize those problems with phthalates. And the biggest thing with phthalates is because it is such a widespread toxin in our homes, our bodies don't really get a rest from it. And that's when that body burden starts to come into play. We start to see our bodies being really affected and burdened down by this toxin, especially children. So this one I think really applies if you have young kids. Young kids generally have poor hand-to-mouth habits. My kids still do, and they're a little bit older, but babies especially, they're crawling on the ground. Dust is getting on their hands. It's ending up in their mouth. Not all dust and dirt is bad. However, if the dust has particles of phthalates in it, or they're mouthing plastic toys or vinyl toys that they're ingesting particles of phthalates, that is going to be affecting their body. We know that it is, there are a couple studies that I referenced this week. It is the hardest on infants, even prenatal. So when moms are pregnant, we're seeing that it's actually affecting the baby if the mom is exposed to a lot of phthalates. So anywhere you can reduce it, if you're expecting, it's a great step for your baby. It reduces their abilities to just develop as normal. It also is a huge endocrine disruptor, meaning that it's affecting the way that their body is producing hormones, specifically with the thyroid. There are also problems when it comes to the liver. They've seen studies where it has caused an enlarged liver, causing different problems with children and adults. So we really want to minimize these phthalates if we can, and using natural products. So the way that we can do this is use natural products, wood, metals that we know are safe. You know, if you're looking at replacing things in your kitchen, I talked about this last week, silicone is a great option for replacing plastics. We just have to be careful when we're heating them. So there's all of these things that we can look at and we can change, and we can take small steps forward to make these changes. So, if you're overwhelmed, please reach out to me. I have resources where you can make a plan for yourself and kind of list out what it is that you would like to remove from your house. Come up with like just a step-by-step plan. Every week, do one thing different. Swap out one thing. The week that you have to buy more of your plastic throwaway containers, go buy instead 2 glass ones that you can just reuse. Things like that. It's very simple, but you just have to really think and plan ahead. So with all that, let's get started on the slides, and I'll take you through everything from this week's blog post. And if you want more information, just click the link below. So that's it, you guys. That is my deep dive into phthalates. I hope that you found it very informational. If you have questions, please reach out to me. Either message me on a platform, send me an email. I have the website linked below the blog post so that you can look at all the studies, all of the sources, and really get an idea of what phthalates are and where they are in your house. I will see you guys next time.